So customizing golf clubs can be expensive, but I'm going to show you how you can etch, engrave your putter, your wedges, and your other clubs without any fancy CNC machines, laser machines, or stamping. And it's way easier than you think.
Be the right club today. Yes!
What's going on, guys? G2 here with 3-Putt Bogey. If you're a subscriber, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Take a minute, join the community, hit that subscribe button, hit a like, leave a comment, hit the notification bell so you are notified every time we upload new content. We do tons of stuff like this as well as other things. So check out while you're here, see if there's anything you like. If so, join the community. Engraving, customizing, personalizing, stamping, wedges, putters, all that stuff is super in right now, and people love to make their clubs their own and unique. And it can get pretty pricey when you're looking at stamps. You know, really good set of tool steel stamps can run you upwards of $150 to $200. If you're doing it, my advice is don't buy the cheap $20 set on Amazon. It's not going to turn out well. But then you've got something like CNC machines or laser engravers, which we're going into the hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to get something like that done. But I am going to show you the easiest, cheapest method that provides amazing results. And the best thing about this is you are not limited to anything. Whatever you can design and think of, you can do. Now, all of the materials that I'm going to showcase in this video, the details will be in the description, along with Amazon links where you can find the stuff to do this at home. And guys, it's super, super easy. Let's just head over to the bench and get right into it. All right, so I hope you guys are ready for this because this is really, really super cool. I started doing this when I was working on guns. It was kind of the easiest way to etch metal. I tried it on golf clubs and lo and behold, it worked. And you only need a couple things. If you don't have it, you can get them pretty cheap. So the first thing that you're gonna need is something like this. Now this is simply a battery charger that I got at Harbor Freight. It has an output of 15 volts. If you don't have this, you can literally use a 9-volt battery. I just like this because then I never have to worry about the battery dying. So I think this thing at Harbor Freight cost me $5, maybe 8. You're gonna need some solution. And this is the solution right here. And this is nothing more than simply water and table salt. So your regular old table salt, just mix it together. It's kind of like a 3 tablespoons to, this is close to a half cup. You know you've got enough if you keep stirring and there's still salt at the bottom. If you keep stirring and the salt disappears, add a little bit more salt. You want to make sure that your salinity content is very high. Q-tips. 2 will be fine. We've got 3 just in case. And then you're going to cut the tips off of these like so. So you have just a little bit of a Q-tip and the bottom part. And you're going to need your piece. So in this case, we're going to do on my 60-degree wedge. And all you have to do is just determine where do you want to put this. Flat spots are the best. So we're going to put some stuff right here on this back where my stamping is. And this is a great alternative if you're not good at stamping, which I am not. So I actually prefer this because not only can you stay away from the typical stamp font, but you can put whatever you want on this. Now, in terms of prep for the golf club, little acetone, and you're just essentially gonna wipe off the area that you were going to etch. So it's gonna be right here. We're just gonna give it a good wipe off. Make sure that we've got any residual stuff off, any grease, fingerprints. Do your best not to touch it afterwards. You need an image. I bought about 5 years ago a Cricut Joy. It is the small Cricut version. I think it was $60. The vinyl is so cheap. You don't even need to get Cricut vinyl. You can go to Walmart and get their brand and it works just as great. I did this because I was doing paint and Duracoat on firearms and I wanted to do stencils and people had special stencil requests. So instead of me always outsourcing that, I'm like, damn, I'm just gonna suck it up, spend the $70 and I can make whatever I want, whenever I want, and that's what I did. Here are I've got 4 different sizes, but they're the same stencil. They're probably hard to see. at the moment, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna weed out. And I wanted to put something on there that I think was, you know, personal and unique to me. And, you know, I love dogs. I've always had a dog. So I thought a nice dog image would look great. So I found, I went online, I found a nice little silhouette of a dog image that I liked. And I'm gonna put that on my wedge. And what we're doing is we are taking the part out of it. So you can see here, the stencil is cut out of this. We're basically taking out that center part. You guys probably, you know, this is a cute little dog image, right? Never really seen anything like it before. So yeah. Now what you're gonna do is go to your club and decide where you're gonna put this image on there. Now I suggest when you're doing this, you give a little bit of border around that stencil just in case there's any kind of you know, flow over from the solution or anything like that. So we're gonna get our first one, our cute little dog stencil, and we're gonna probably put it right there. I'm just gonna press it down like so. So that is the part that's gonna be etched. The cool thing about this is these were all printed in one shot. So I've got extras if I need them. So yeah, so we're gonna end up etching those 3 images on there, just like that. Now what I'd also would suggest that you do is you want to get this covered as much as possible because you don't want any of that solution to go over. So if you're not real comfortable maybe doing the first time, cover up the whole club. You'll see it's pretty easy to manage this and to kind of keep control of what you're doing. And then just using a nice clean towel, not our fingers, right? Because we just got all the oil off. We're just gonna impression down on those images. Make sure that they are nice and adhered to where we're gonna go. And that's the hard part. So what you wanna do with this now is you wanna get this basically flat to something. So I'm gonna use an old 2x4 here and a little clamp, and we're just gonna hold it. So it holds that, you can see, perfectly flat, and it gives us a nice work surface. It's just easier, in my opinion. The solution won't move back and forth and things like that. So it just makes it a little bit easier. You don't want to use anything metal. You want to keep it fairly non-reactive if you can. So now you're going to get your charger. You've got your positive and your negative terminal. You're going to get your positive terminal and you're going to clip it to the piece. This is what is going to conduct the electricity through the piece. That's why we don't want to use metal, because it'll basically be conducting the entire thing. Also why when I use the clamp, I put rubber ends on it so it doesn't conduct through the clamp. It just helps. It's not going to mess it up. It's just going to make it take longer for you because you're creating resistance the more metal you introduce into the process. The best to do is to get this as close to what you're etching. Reduces the distance that the current has to travel. It'll just speed up a little bit. So here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna get your Q-tip. We're gonna put it in our solution like so. And we're gonna then put it onto our negative terminal. Don't worry, this is only 15 volts. You're not gonna get any kind of shock or anything. And then I'll give it just a little extra dip. And all we're gonna do is we're gonna start with this one right here, is you're gonna hold the Q-tip onto the exposed part of the metal through your stencil. And you should start to hear some bubbling. Okay, and you wanna keep moving it around. If it's a little too wet, just give it a dab. But you should already start to see that this has started to discolor, which means we're taking the original layer of the wedge off. Now this is not a fast process, okay? This whole thing would probably take about 20 minutes. I would spend about 7 minutes on each stencil just to make sure you get a nice solid etch. The cleaner your Q-tip, which is why we have multiples, we're gonna use one Q-tip at least for each stencil, the better conductivity you're going to get. Now again, we're using a 15-volt charger here, output. If you're using a 9-volt battery, it may take you a little longer. For us, it's going to not take quite as long because we've got more voltage. Just take your time. That's the most important thing with this. It's going to turn out great as long as you take your time. So I'm going to fast forward through this process and I will see you in a second. All right, so as you continue, it's been maybe about 5 minutes. So as you go through with this, you will start to see your bubbles start to get pretty brown and grimy. And that is to be expected, and that is part of the byproduct of this process. It doesn't smell great, so make sure you're in a ventilated place. Once it gets a little, I don't know what the word is, schmutzy, there, you can just get a paper towel or whatever and just wipe it up. It's fine. And take a look at their Q-tip. So that was 5 minutes of using it, and you can see how gross that Q-tip is. It's actually hard and crusty. It's almost like there's rust on it, which is the metal that we're taking off. So at this point, we're going to change this. We've etched for about 5 minutes there. So let's go to the next one. New, fresh, clean Q-tip. Let's get it soaked. And we're going to start on the second one here. All right, so it's been roughly 20 minutes in total. 5 minutes for the little ones, a little over 7 for the bigger one. Now, here the big question always is, how do I know when it's done? It's a great question because sometimes you really just don't. I will use a pick and I will just gently go up against the edge. And if I can push without messing up my decal, like I can feel the edge of the etch there, right? And as long as you were consistent across the board with giving each spot of the stencil equal amount of time, you should have a fairly consistent etch. Because once you take off the stencil, it's going to be impossible to rematch that. We're going to go with it. I feel confident. So just unclip everything, unplug everything. It's pretty good. And let's take off our decal. Yeah, just spray some water on it. Like so. Give it a little rub down. So we've got our little dogs etched on there. You can see it actually looks kind of cool with the way that the bluing agent did it. It almost looks like they're black and tan. So little surprises, I guess. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. So have fun with it. Pick whatever you want. And guys, I mean, it couldn't be any cheaper or any easier than that. It just takes a little time and a little bit of patience. That Cricut Joy is an amazing machine. It's super convenient and yeah, pretty cool. So until next time, make sure that you swing as hard as you can, just in case you hit the ball. G2 out.